Hello, this is Smooth7, also known as Daniel. You can call me either one. So first of all, what am I doing? Well, I've been watching YouTube videos for quite a few years, and I finally decided, you know what? There's a lot of people doing it. I figure I'm going to try it out too. So I have a video here from Nascar Racing 2003 season. A lot of you have probably heard of that game. Simulator, by the way. But I do a lot of editing of the files, the INI files for the tracks. This particular track is Atlanta, so credit goes to the creators of the track. I'll put a link to the track in the description. But basically, I go into the INI files for the track and change things like how long the tires last, what are their speeds on the straightaway, what are their speeds in the corner, things like that, just so that I can have the most competitive race possible. So we're going to watch this race together, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and we'll kind of go from there. I just want to say, first of all, I'm not a professional YouTuber, obviously. I'm just learning how to do this. I'm learning OBS, I'm learning Audacity, and I've had a lot of people help me out along the way. So we're going to do this and just see how it goes, and hopefully as I continue to do this, it'll get better over time. So let's start the race and see how it goes. So here we are on the starting grid. I'm starting second in this race. So I'm looking at the volume. I'm going to check the volume as we go along. Hopefully you can still hear me and you can hear the cars as well. So as the race goes on, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and hopefully what my plan is for this channel. So we'll see what that looks like as we go through the video. So we're coming to the start finish line now. I've done a lot of changes to the track INI for this particular track to try to make it as competitive as possible, and we'll go through all that as we watch the race. So sit back and hopefully you enjoy it. So obviously you can see at the bottom of the screen this race is 114 laps. I'm not going to make you sit through 114 laps. There will be a couple of instances during this race that I'll skip to a later part of the race. I'm hoping this video is around 45 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that, because I know once videos get too long, people stop watching, and hopefully that won't happen. Now you can see here, you're probably wondering, who are all these cars? And I don't know these paint schemes. So I kind of did an all-star package, actually. The first car you see up there is Cale Yarborough. Of course, Jimmy Johnson's in second. Bobby Allison is actually in third. And I am in fourth, and if you want, I'll show you what my paint scheme looks like as well. So this one's mine. I'm the 28 car. I grew up watching NASCAR in the 80s, in the late 80s, so that kind of tells how old I am. But I grew up watching Davey Allison. He was my favorite driver. Still is my favorite driver. And probably always will be. I do like Chase Elliott, though. Of course, everybody loves Chase now. But so you can see here, I'm fighting pretty hard to stay in fourth place. Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart are behind me. Yes, I know they're retired, but it's a video game. We can do those things here. So the hardest thing for me to do when I'm editing track INI files is to get things to line up a specific way. There are certain things I cannot adjust for me, but I can adjust them for the AI. Like fuel usage. I cannot adjust how fast I go through fuel on a run. It's just kind of set the way it is. So what I have to do instead is change the AI to match me so that we go through fuel at the same rate. I also cannot change how fast my tires wear out. Like I can change how fast they wear over a run, but I can't change how much speed I lose over a run. So the only way I can negate that is to change the numbers for the AI cars so that they lose the same amount of speed over a run that I do. And for any of those that don't know, a run is anything from the beginning to the end when you have to come in and pit because your tires are worn or you're running out of fuel. So that's what a run is considered. So you can see here, I'm hanging in there the best I can in third place. I really try to set up the ratings for each driver so that it's not too close together like pack racing. I don't necessarily want pack racing, but I don't want them spread out too far either because I want it to be competitive. So I'm going to let you watch a couple of laps here and listen to the engine sounds. Of course, the engine sounds are not the stock ones either. I like having realistic engine sounds, so I'm going to put it in cockpit mode and let you listen to what those sounds are like for a couple of laps. So hopefully you can see, kind of run together the best that we can. The highline for this particular track is a little bit faster on purpose, just to help the high side get around, and it makes it a little bit more challenging as well. You can see on the bottom, I can stay on the bottom, and that'll be okay. I mean, you can see we're 3 wide here, and we pretty much almost crashed because it's, you know, it's hard to be 3 wide in Atlanta. We come out of this corner and I get this, oh, and I almost run into him. I did run into him right there. This track does have a little bit more grip. I put a little bit more grip on the track surface itself in the beginning of a run. In the beginning of the race on lap 1, I find that the AI tires are pretty much up to temperature already. My tires, they take about a lap to come in, so if I have this thing simulating pretty fast, going the same speed as me, I'm going to get run over on lap 1 pretty much every time. So I have to have a way to keep my speed up there with the AI. So I use the grip of the track to make up for it. So that really helps me. Once I get through those first 1 and 2 turns, it usually is a lot better, and I can maintain my pace with the AI. So that's my number one goal with creating this, is just to show that this type of racing is possible. And as we go along, I'm going to talk a little bit more about NASCAR Heat 4 and what that looks like. And I have high hopes for that. Obviously, it's not a true simulator, but I have some high hopes for that one. The videos and things that I have seen so far. Disco Inferno has really talked about the game a lot, and I have been watching him for a couple of years. He really wants it to be more simulation focused, and I get that, and so do I. So hopefully that's something that 704 is listening to. I know they have to cater to the masses, but it is nice for us simulation racers to get some things that we're looking for too. I am actually going to, after this lap, I'm going to skip ahead in the race a few laps, maybe to around lap 45, because what you're seeing right now is pretty much how the race is going to go for the next 30 laps. I'm never too far ahead of the AI, maybe a couple of tenths, but I mean, as you can see by my throttle, I'm driving pretty hard. So is the AI, and that's how I built it, because that's what I want. So I'm going to skip ahead to lap around 48, 49, something like that, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, welcome back. As you can see, we are on lap 51. Jeff Gordon is trying his best to get up here and get the lead, and so is Tony Stewart. I'm really a big fan of running the high line. I love running the high line, the high side, and even Disco Inferno mentioned it with Jeff Faviano's video, and appreciate Jeff for all his hard work in his videos. Really brings us a lot of insight. He was running the high side, and it wasn't easy. It's not easy to run that high line. You can ask Kyle Larson, because he can run the high line like no other, but it takes one hit in the wall and he's done. So it is definitely not an easy transition. You can see there Jeff Gordon trying his best to come up and make the pass. Now I'm about to come in for a pit stop, and pit stops are a whole nother thing in this simulator, because they are not easy. The thing I love and the thing I hate about this type of simulator is there is no go back feature. There's no rewind. There's none of that. If you run 50 laps, and obviously it took about 25 minutes to run those 50 laps. You run 50 laps and you screw up coming into the pits, you just wasted 25 minutes. Your race is done. So you either start over or you take an L. So as you can see, I'm coming into the pits. You got to get down to pit road speed. If you're even 1 mile an hour over pit road speed in this sim, you're getting a penalty. So you can see I have to come down and I have to stay at 45, 44 the best I can. I've had problems before where I looked up for just a split second to see what speed I was, and as soon as I looked up, I went over. So I don't know what's up with that, but I guess my eyes and my foot can't do the same thing at the same time. So you can see my pit crew here is doing their thing. Sometimes they go fast, sometimes they don't. That's another setting in the AI settings. I mean the INI settings as well. So you can set how well your pit crew does. Those are in the ratings. So you can set how well you do, or you can set if they might make a mistake or not, or how long they might take to do the pit stop overall. So I'm coming back out of the pits now. Everybody's passing me. For the next few minutes, I'll stay here and we'll take a look at a couple more laps. I know I'm saying a lot. This is my first video. I'm trying to get out of that. Maybe I should write on a piece of paper, don't say because I know it's really annoying when people do that. So I'm trying my best not to. I'm gonna put it back in cockpit mode. I know people love cockpit mode. That's what I race in. I race in cockpit mode. I hated cockpit mode when I first started. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand it. I don't know how people did it. And by the way, I started on NASCAR 2003 back in the day. I saw this button. I was messing around with it. And I saw this button that said multiplayer. So I clicked it. And I ended up in this room with all these different servers. And I was like, what is this? And that's how I found all the Talladega races. I don't know if any of you remember someone named Mouse from Talladega, but man, we sure do. Me and Justin Brown, we have a whole team speak. I haven't been on there in a little while because I'm going back to school, but I'll get into school and all that stuff another time. I did it again, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to do that. But we have a team speak. It's called Bag of 4 X's. So those are some really good friends of mine. So I haven't seen them in a little while, but I want to get back in touch with those guys. They really do a good job. Really make you feel like friends and family. So you can see from this, I just went by Daniel Suarez pretty quick. I'm on new tires. They are not. I actually kind of messed up my tire wear here, and I put it around like 53 because my tires were done. So it really should have been around lap 60, but I ran my tires so hard that I ran them off. Now you can see right there Rusty Wallace. Yes, he's in this simulator too. There's Tim Richmond right there in the 25. William Byron is in here. Davey Allison's up there in the 28. I always hate when I pass Davey. He's my favorite driver, but you got to do what you got to do. And again, if you make one little mistake, if I were to run into Byron right there and crashed, my race is done. I ran 60 laps and I'd have to start all over again. So I really try not to do that. We're going by Ernie Irvin there in the 4 car. So I'm going to be quiet for just a moment and let you guys listen to the sounds again. So that's how you get through a group of cars that need to pit, because they are still on old tires, and once they do pit, we're going to find out later in the race that I kind of messed up, but I didn't have any choice but to come in and pit myself. So I am going to fade out for a minute, and we're going to go down to around lap 84, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Alright, we're back. We are on lap 85. So, you can see I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of cars. Everybody pitted. These cars right here, let's see what position they're in. Terry Labonte. He is in 38th position. And Bubba Wallace, he is in 35th. So, obviously, they are not where I am. I'm leading the race. Now you can see back behind me, here comes Jimmy Johnson. I have tried everything to get around these lap cars, or these slower cars, and I just can't do it. That high side is killing me. But here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's in 2nd place, and Cale Yarborough in the 29 car. He's in 3rd place. And here they come. I just need to get by these lap cars, but I can't seem to do it. This is what I love about simulation racing. And even this I had to tweak to my specifications to get the racing that I wanted. But once you get it set to what you want, it's yours, and you can leave it that way and you can keep it that way. So right now I'm trying to get by Bubba Wallace, and yes, I try to have the newest paint schemes I can because, you know, that's just what we do. So I finally get by Bubba Wallace, and here comes Jimmy Johnson. And I had like at least a 3-second lead, but the lap car slowed me down. And yeah, I could plow through them, but I would end up with damage, and I have full damage turned on, so if I get damage, I'm going to slow down. Now you can see this race is ending not too long from now, maybe about 30 laps from now, 26 laps from now. And I'm trying to fend off Jimmy Johnson for that period of time. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But we will see what happens. Now I like using this rear camera too for replays because it really shows where he is and what he's doing. And you can also hear the engine sounds or the exhaust sounds. Now if I ever get OBS figured out, I'm sure this video doesn't look near as good as what I'm watching right now on the screen, because I don't really want to use 7 gigs per minute to do an uncompressed video. So I think mine is around 900 megabytes a minute that I'm using to record this. So that's pretty good. But I didn't want to use 7 gigs. So we'll see what that looks like down the road. We'll even hop in Jimmy Johnson's car. And see what he sees when he's looking at me. There. So now you can see what Jimmy Johnson is chasing. You can see I'm giving it everything I've got. I'm not laying back to make it a good race. I'm going as hard as I can to stay ahead of him. And he is right there. That's one thing I love about NASCAR Racing 2003 is in most racing games, when you pass somebody, they fade away. They fade back. You never see them again. Not in this sim. If they're fast and they can hang with you, they will not go away. And then you got Matt Kenseth right here. Matt Kenseth is in 34th, but he's pretty fast because he's got some tires. And I'm doing everything I can to get around him because he is slowing me down. And again, the high lane here is where it's at. See, I am doing everything I can to get by, and I couldn't do it, and we ran into each other, and there goes Jimmy Johnson right by me. This is what you race for. This is good, hard, clean racing. And for me, I race a lot of different titles. You know, I race F1, 2018, 2019. I race Project Cars. I can't even tell you how many mods I have for Assetto Corsa. It's insane. But for the YouTubers that I've been watching over the last few years, people like Billy Strange, Disco Inferno, who gives a lot of insight, Jeff Aviano. Yeah, there's so many of them. I can't possibly. I have probably 20 sim racers, YouTube streamers that I watch. And they all offer something a little bit different. And when I started thinking about making videos, I thought, you know, what can I do to put myself in the best position? Well, I found out the best thing I can do is just be me. I don't want to be... Jeff, I love you, but I don't want to be Jeff Aviano. Because there's already a Jeff Aviano. There's already a Disco Inferno. There's already, you know, you name them. And I gotta be me, because if you try to be like everybody else, it's not going to work. So I just want to give you a little insight of what I do and what I enjoy. My thing is two things. I love sim racing and I love college football. And I will definitely be doing, I have the Madden 2019 game and I have the college football 2019 mod. So I'm going to be doing some game footage of that as well. One thing you'll learn about me is I'm a number person through and through to a fault. I want it so simulator and so exact that it's difficult. Because I want it to be difficult. I want it so sim that I can't stand it. I want it so simulator that it's either win or you just don't. But I want to have that opportunity. I don't want to go to Homestead and finish 25th and then come here to Atlanta and finish 3rd. I want it so finite down to what I'm looking for that I can change the settings and I can run top 10 at Homestead, I can run top 10 at Bristol, I can run top 10 at Darlington, and I can run top 10 here at Atlanta because I changed the settings to what I wanted for each individual track. And maybe down the road I'll do some tutorials. There's tons of tutorials out there on how to change track INI files, what they do, how to change driver ratings. But if those are things people would like to see, then I can definitely do that too. So we have, you know, we're getting down to having about 10 laps to go. So, and I'm still in it. So let's switch to another camera and see what we're looking at. And you can see back here, there's Tony Stewart back there in the 20 car. He's in 3rd. So I'm trying to catch Jimmy Johnson, and I'm trying to keep Tony Stewart behind me. And then you got other cars around me who won't go away. So, and just so you know, cautions do happen. There wasn't one this race, but cautions do happen. I really enjoy racing Watkins Glen too. I love the road courses. My friend Jose Joe, he knows who I'm talking to. He's not a big fan of NASCAR, so he's probably clicked off at this point. But I still watch his streams. He's on Twitch, so him and Jaden and Master of Upgrades and all those guys, they're really good guys too. For me, I'm just your everyday guy. You know what? If people want to subscribe and like and all that fun stuff, that's great, but I am not going to beg people to do it. And there goes Cole Wiki. He needs to get off the wall. But he's going to ride the wall all the way around there. But that's just not my thing. I mean, I've been watching YouTubers for years, and definitely for those individuals who would like to make that a career, you definitely need all the subscribers and the likes and all those things to make that happen. For me, it's just more about offering people information, being that everyday person that people can talk to. I kind of, it's kind of like Dale Jr. I want to be that guy that people can just sit down and talk to and hang out with. I'm just like most of you guys and girls. I work, I live paycheck to paycheck, though I'm trying to get out of that rut like we all are. But we'll see how this goes, and maybe at some point maybe I'll even do a live stream at some point. I don't know. I've never done this before. I've watched people for a long time, and I figured why not. So you can see here comes Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart is right there, and he is not giving up. And again, that's what I love about this sim, is you set it up the way you want it. And I enjoy it. I enjoy coming home and driving the sim because I know it's going to be competitive. Sometimes it's going to frustrate me because I'm going to crash. It just happens. That's racing. But That's the way it is. Do you want to play something that's easy, that you're just going to blow the field away? Or what? Or do you want a competition? What do you want? You got to figure that out and decide for yourself. Now, again, talking about Disco Inferno, he's part of the reason I decided to start doing this. So if he's watching, I really appreciate you. And there's so many others to thank and appreciate. Of course, I can't thank them all on one stream, but watching him and how he carries himself and how much passion he has for racing and how simulistic, is that a word? I don't think that's a word. Never mind. How simulator focused he is. I'm really hopeful that Heat 4 does well. With all the changes that I have seen, there are many similarities between 2003 and NASCAR Heat 4 related to the sliders. They have a lot of sliders that are the same types of things I change in the INI. Now, I don't know what that looks like under the hood for Heat 4, but we'll see. It's not like Madden, where you put quarterback accuracy at 0, and then you put it at 100, and you might miss 2 passes. And it's like, does this slider even work? What's happening? So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm interested though. I'm interested to see how Heat 4 looks and what it does, because though I love this is a 15-year-old title, just about, maybe a little bit more now. I'm ready to move up to something newer. I have iRacing. I play iRacing quite a bit, and what you're about to see here is Alan Kulwicki letting me know that I'm in his way. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like in a lap or two. I think it's on lap 111. I'm not recording this as I'm racing, obviously. Listen, I am not Jimmy Broadbent. I started watching him at 12,000 subs. Now he has, I think, 300,000 subs. He is a beast. But I am no Jimmy Broadbent. I cannot race and talk at the same time. I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time. So I definitely can't do that. So probably on the football side of it, I can do that at the same time. And here comes Kulwicki. He's going to let me know, you're in my way, buddy. And he dumps me. Well, he was close to dumping me. I was so pissed. When he did that, I was like, if I get back to him, I am going to dump him. But it didn't happen. So now Tony Stewart's gotten around me, and I'm trying everything I can to catch him. Let's finish it out, and I'll let you listen to the sound some more. Oh, and just so you know, you can see the windshield's all dirty. I do like that. That's pretty cool. So you can see we're coming to the end of the race. I end up in 3rd position. Never could catch Tony. Obviously couldn't catch Jimmy Johnson either. So, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, this is my first video really that I've ever done. I have no idea how I did or what's happening, but I did the best I could, and I think it turned out okay. One thing I want you to notice here at the top right of the screen, my best lap was a 29.5. My last lap was a 32.7. And if we go back, I think I slowed down on that last lap actually. So you can see near the end of the race, I'm a 29.5 to a 31.5. That's about a 2-second difference. And if you look at Tony Stewart, he's 29.5 to 31.5 over a long run. And then if you look at Jimmy Johnson, his might be a little different. Yeah, he probably got slowed down a little bit by the lapper or slower cars, 29.6 to 30.9. So as we go through the field, you can see 31.3, 31.1, 31.2, 31.1. A lot of 29.5s as their fastest lap. This is how exact I try to make it so that everybody's on the same page. Now the slower cars like Bubba Wallace, his fastest lap was a 29.8, so 0.3 slower. So I try my best to make it as exact as I can, but it is not easy, and sometimes it makes me want to pull my hair out. But I really appreciate everybody coming by, checking out my video. We'll see what it looks like in the future. Heck, I might even get a couple of subs out of this. I don't know. But I'm going to keep going. Put some comments down there in the comment section. Try to be as constructive as you can. Because, listen, I'm new at this. I've never done this before. If there's any comments that are too negative, I'm probably just going to delete them. But have a heart. It's my first video. Don't be too hard on me. Don't make me not come back. I'm definitely going to come back. But so that's it. That's it for the video. And we'll see what happens in the next one. You guys and girls have a good evening and have a good week.